What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. Again, we're bringing you a video of real estate here in Italy, and I really hope you enjoy. As a segue from our recent videos, I had to share something exciting. Most of you know I've been searching for a vacation home in some adventurous part of Italy. Well, before I started talking about €1 houses, I was focused on a process known as the BRRRR method. Check out the playlist at the end of the video to get caught up. One of my last videos about it was sharing news that I had discovered my new motivation. This is the one I showed you, my new motivation, and I finally got to see the insides of it. And I'm going to show you here in a second exactly what was in there. And it's amazing. I don't know. I know the floor plan by like the back of my hand at this point, but seeing photos in the floor plan on a piece of paper don't give it justice. It was a pretty quirky individual that had this property initially, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I think it was obvious to the property custodians that I've been spending most of my time with cheap real estate due to my reaction when visiting the property here in Massalengo. Most of my excitement is due to the vision I have for the future use of this property. We're going to take a quick tour of the property, and due to being unclear whether I can really share this video, I've opted to remove the voices of the custodians as they respond to my questions. You see, the property is technically owned by the court, and the last time I tried to record myself just talking about the courthouse while I was visiting Palermo, Sicily, I was coerced into deleting the video by 2 armed carabinieri due to the policies of the court. Since I intend to use this property for personal use, I don't think it should be a problem. Let's start the tour. Due to the number of interested parties, I was paired with a less experienced member of the team. So in general, he only showed the property based on what he saw ahead of him and held no knowledge of the property's state on paper. I was even taken on a reverse tour of the property, so I didn't get a great shot from the main entry. The previous owner of this property definitely had a personality, as you can see from the strong pinks and golds you see in the main living space. I really love this staircase, and living in such a spacious property would really be a change of scenery for our family that currently lives in a townhome style, bumper to bumper private street. Instead of describing every aspect of the home, I'd like to talk about what I intend to do with the property. You see, I've been searching for a property with hidden value. By value, I intend something about the property that with a little extra effort could really add to the real value of the villa. An example comes from an apartment we purchased in January 2018. It was a large 4th floor apartment space formed from 3 separate apartments. Instead of leaving them as one unified apartment, we invested a little bit extra at the beginning to create 2 smaller units, which are both rented out at the moment. Doing so created instant equity, since what was once one property had become 2 cash flowing rentals. For those who don't know what BRRRR stands for, it is an acronym for Buy, Renovate, Rent, Refinance, and Repeat. Every phase of the process builds up until the 4th step, when, if following a solid plan, you're able to refinance and pull out a portion or all of this newly established equity, and with step 5, use it to invest again, repeating the process. I'm currently in the process of refinancing our current apartments, and this new motivation villa will not only serve as a place to reinvest the equity gained, but also serve as the repeat step in the process, since the hidden value I see in this villa is to take advantage of its size and divide the spaces yet again. Let's look at the floor plan. The property is one villa of 457 square meters with 70 square meters of balcony, an 84 square meter 2-car garage, and 1,130 square meters of courtyard, fenced on all sides. Did I mention the pool? There are a number of ways to divide the property, but I want to reduce the remodel budget as much as possible, so I'm going to keep adding and removing walls to a minimum. At least that's the intention here. Due to this, instead of splitting this property into what could be 4 units by filling in the vaulted ceiling of the main living space of the house, I'm going to keep the budget at a minimum and retain this major aesthetic feature of the front portion of the property and block access to the back portion of the property, making 2 smaller apartments on the back side, both approximately 115 square meters in size. This would leave approximately 230 square meters for my family to live in, while creating 2 apartments that we would rent, intending to cover the cost of financing the entire villa and more. You might be asking, But why is this giant villa on your channel about cheap real estate? Obviously, it's going to cost a lot more than €1. True. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the tour. Press that subscribe button or the like button if you haven't already while I break down the costs for you. Being valued at €418,900 in 2014, this property has seen a number of auction procedures come and go until arriving to us today for the base price of €266,250.
But there's more.
Like I mentioned last video, I am able to offer 25% less, which brings my offer to €199,607.50. That's 47.6% of the initial value. Now, do you see why this property is being featured on my channel? Assuming no one else comes, that would be my winning purchase price for this property. Since the property is most likely considered a casa di lusso, I won't be able to request the prima casa tax benefit and will have to pay a 9% tax on purchase plus about €400 more in other taxes. If I was paying in cash, that would be all. But since I will be using a mortgage, I will have to consider a notary fee as well. Don't you just love how banks complicate things? All in, I'll be looking at €221,204 to purchase the property. In order to renovate the property, I'd estimate another €15,000 to €30,000 due to its size. Remember, we're creating 3 separate spaces, each needing kitchen, bath, and HVAC systems. So this budget is really slim. I'll most likely have to retain some of the eccentric tile finishes, but I'm confident there will be a way to fit it all into a fresh interior look. If I finance €159,700, I'll need €61,454 in order to close on this deal. I intend to purchase the property and invest another $5,000 initially to divide the front and back spaces, leaving the back 2 apartments to be renovated over time. Renting out my current home should easily cover the €518.23 per month it would cost to cover the mortgage for the entire home. The sooner I can finish each property, the sooner I can add an additional source of income to our personal finances. I guess the question is the income from 2 115 square meter properties going to be a good return on my cash? After taxes, I estimate €841 of additional income generated each month. If I can keep my budget to less than €30,000 for the entire remodel, I'll be looking at just about 11% return on cash. If I consider the €100 extra cash from my current home and the fact that I'm saving about €1,000 by house hacking, my return on investment is 25.4%. That's not even taking into consideration appreciation and how my previous 2 apartments are at an infinite rate of return since I have reused all my initial investment cash and generated additional cash during the first BRRRR process. But most importantly, in a year or 2, I can choose to refinance the property accessing the equity, which I estimate would be between €300,000 and €346,000. It's important not to exaggerate and exceed the current cash flow, but the main advantage of this is that accessing equity using debt in this way is tax-free. If I was to sell the property, I'd be liable for capital gains, so being willing to take on a certain amount of risk gives me major benefits. My biggest challenge comes with completing the new refinancing before December 18th, which is when this auction is being held. Hopefully, I can share some good news with you soon, but we'll see how things go. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the property tour. Like the video if you'd like to see more Italian real estate here on the channel, and I'll see you next time.
Di tutto dentro che è rimasto. Però questa è una bella cameretta, c'è sul soffitto decorato anche. Ah, sì.